let's talk about Thiago then. Obviously, he suffered the muscle issue after he came on for like 9 minutes, I think, in total against the Arsenal. Most of it was playing a centre back as well. Yeah, like I said, we don't know the extent of the injury. We're gonna have to wait, but it's not cool. He expects him to play again this season, but we didn't really think about that. It's not a big injury. Now, Liverpool can't miss Thiago, Neil, because they haven't had him, so you can't miss something that you haven't had. But there was a thought of, just imagine if you can sprinkle Thiago into this team, you know, on the route towards finals, even the last 10 minutes of a game. Do you need to win the game? Can you bring him on, or do you need to control the game and see it out? He could be perfect, and unfortunately, it's gone again. And it's just, I know there's a lot of people piling on Thiago because it's not his fault. Like, he can't help getting injured. It is such a shame. But yeah, it's a real cruel blow, because he's worked so hard to get himself back fit, get back ready, and then within 9 minutes it's gone again. It feels like, it is just such a shame, really. Yeah,
that's exactly the point I was going to make. Really, is this kind of, I understand it in a sort of, you know, a sense that people just get frustrated. I've had it with him, you know, that's it, you know, give up with him. People used to be a bit like that with Daniel Sturridge, didn't he? He was like, I'm sick of it. Or Keita, never available. But for me, it's just you know, if he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all, would he? It feels like at Liverpool anyway, or over the last couple of years. Hamstring injury, I was told it is quite a bad one. You know, certainly not a week or 2 week effort. I was told it was a pull tear of some description, which does put into doubt sort of, you know, especially when Liverpool are potentially going to be, every game's going to be mega intense in the last month of the season. What games can you drop a Thiago in and say, go ahead, get yourself some rhythm for 20 minutes or 45 minutes? I think that's really concerning for him. And really frustrating for Liverpool, because, you know, like you say, that was a lovely little bonus, really, wasn't it? You know, in amongst, I mean, I didn't really put too many social media posts out after the Arsenal game, because didn't feel like there was much to sort of, there was going to get much engagement. But I think the last one I put out after it wasn't all bad news today. You know, Thiago was back 3 days later. It's actually, wish he wasn't. And I was told, I mean, you saw it on Liverpool put it out, but I was told from people who were there as well that you're talking about looking sharp, you know, and looking like sort of ready to sort of get stuck right back into it in training. That was where he was at, and now he's back to, you know, if not square one, then not far away. That's a real frustration for him. And we could talk about his contract and his situation. I mean, I don't expect him to stay at Liverpool personally. I never did, but I don't think you can make a case for him to stay, even if he was to return sort of, you know, half decent before the end of the season. I think you'd have to say, look, 32, 33, the history of injuries.
He's a big earner.
Big earner. And also I think he is someone that, he changes the way you play as well, doesn't he? You know, like, he's not, you can't just say we'll play another Thiago. You know, if Thiago doesn't play the Thiago role, someone else will. You can't. He's a very specific player. So, you know, I think it's just difficult to say that Liverpool could go any further with it than this, and it's a real shame, you know, because at his best, I mean, one of the best performances I've ever seen covering Liverpool was Thiago against Manchester United at Anfield. I mean, he wasn't far away in that semi-final against City at Wembley. That was around the same period, that wasn't it? But he was like in that quadruple chasing season a couple of years ago. That second half of the season that Thiago put together was outstanding. And if you remember, I mean, remember the build-up to Paris. All of the build-up really was, is he going to be fit? Is he going to be fit? And what Liverpool went through on the day where I think he had numbness in his foot, and, you know, obviously what had happened with the fans meant there was a delay to the kick-off, and Liverpool sort of give him extra chance to be fit. He was that important to Liverpool at that point, where it was like, well, you know, if we have to wait 10 minutes before we sort of confirm it, we will. That was how important he is, and it's just a shame to see him now where he's almost like a, you know, people have just lost patience with him, I suppose, haven't they, or lost the love of him a little bit, and it's a real shame, because it's, like you say, it's not his fault. I'm pretty certain from speaking to people who've worked with Thiago, who've been involved in his signing, who were, you know, around that, he's a model professional. You know, he's not someone who's going to come in and go, have you not been doing your rehab? No, I forgot. You know, he is that kind of he will do everything to make sure he's fit, and to pick up a muscle injury like that after 10 months on the sidelines with another one is just, sad for him and sad for Liverpool.
Absolutely. It can happen though, unfortunately, when you're out for so long and he's had hip issues and stuff, and it's all connected really, isn't it, literally? And
I mean, I think what maybe would make Klopp's mood a little bit more downbeat is he didn't need to come on. He's not done it in a Liverpool losing that game, and
I suppose the red card after kills it, doesn't it? If you've got 10 minutes of Thiago and it's 2-1, and Arsenal have parked the bus, then that's perfect for him. He ends up playing centre half, legging it round the pitch because his mate's been sent off. And you're right. The circumstances a minute after he comes on dictate that it was a needless almost.
But if he comes back in a cup game and you're like, wow, we had 45 minutes of Thiago there just running the show. He probably had about 5 touches of the ball. It's like 6 minutes. And that's cost him potentially, weeks, months, whatever. Maybe the last we see of him. I hope not, but I think there has to be a chance. Yeah. It just feels like, oh God, like what a full stop to a rubbish afternoon. We didn't just have a man sent off. We didn't just get beat. We didn't just play rubbish. We actually lost a player that we could have left on the bench really, and just sort of saw the game out and got the same outcome. There would have been no difference whether we'd either brought on James McConnell or Thiago in that game. I think Klopp will just be one of like that. That'll be a mood that was just, it's killed him off a bit.
Absolutely, and I know Jurgen said, they don't think it's that bad. I know you said there you heard differently in the reports where it wasn't great.
Bad. Klopp said bad, or big, didn't he? Said, which could be anything. I was told it's not insignificant. Put it that way. It's not a sort of he just had a little bit of cramp in his hamstring or whatever. I think it was definitely an injury as opposed to he felt something.
That's right. And even if you're out for a month now and you're into the end of March,
and you've had 10 months out,
and you've had 10, we hope that at the end of the season Liverpool are challenging in big games for big trophies and stuff. I think you do have to ask the question, is that him? Because even if he's fit and available, can you take a chance? Or it'd be difficult again. And does he want to? Because
I'm going to say that's the other thing.
He's got a future to worry about.
That's not sort of casting aspersions on his professionalism or anything like that. But I think Liverpool done that last year. Really, Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain just ended up sort of pushed aside.
Lallana
done it. Yeah, I think Nathaniel Klein done it, didn't he? When he was,
don't want to get injured now.
Came back. It was a little bit like, well, you especially at his age, 32, 33, you don't want to be. Joel Matip's in a position, isn't he, where he's out of contract and recovering from a massive injury. Yeah. There will be that consideration definitely, and if Liverpool have players available around that period where they've got Szoboszlai, they've got Elliott, and they've got Endo and McAllister and Curtis and Gravenberch, it does feed a little bit in, I think, to we have to do right by him as well, if we're not going to offer him a new contract. But I think look, fingers crossed, the best case scenario I think is, fingers crossed, it's a couple of weeks and he just costs him a bit of training or whatever, but I don't think it is. I think it's worse than that.
Yeah, absolutely. It is such a shame, really, for him to go, because people do talk about Thiago and injuries. This is the first season, really. He's played like 30 odd games in most of the seasons he's had. This year's been the one where it's obviously gone horribly wrong. And it's weird because if he had been fit and available, listen, it's sliding doors moments. Can he play the way Liverpool are playing at the moment? Is the other question you have to ask, because for a fella to come back and he'll off 10 months off and then another couple of months off and then say to him, right, you're playing as an advanced number 8 and your job is to leg it round and do which is what Liverpool's number 8 are expected to do, lead the press and all that kind of stuff. That feels hard. Do you want him as a 6? Possibly, but then also there's other options available to him. It almost feels like even if he is fit and available, the role he would have would be what he had the other day. It was like, you can have 10 minutes where we need you in a different type of game, because it is difficult for him to now, especially on the back of 2 injuries, say, right, you're going to just slot into this team, because technically he probably still is the best of them, but technically and in reality are 2 different things now.
Yeah, possibly. And I think maybe the way the league's gone a little bit, where maybe 2 years ago Liverpool had a lot more teams that would sit in and
he was in the PFA team of the year, wasn't he?
Not do any, not look to attack almost beyond a couple of little forays, but it feels like every team's got flyers out wide and sort of a plan to attack Liverpool and do that, and that requires, like you say, legs. Trent moving into midfield means you have to have that natural sort of move across and cover spaces. So the team has evolved, certainly in his absence, hasn't it? And I felt not dissimilar to Oxlade-Chamberlain, probably in a way, when he picked up that big injury against Roma. It felt like when he came back, Liverpool had moved away from they didn't really need what he was bringing a little, or they needed it a little bit less, and he became more of a, well, actually you could be a little bit of a change in tone off the bench. Possibly that is that, but he's got to be fit, and after 10 months out, and I know I'm saying he was sharp in training, and Jürgen said the same, didn't he? I think he said, woof.
Well, he said we showed him on LFC TV how good he looked as well. He referenced that, how good the videos looked as well.
They were good finishes, to be fair.
They were very good videos.
But yeah, you're saying that, but coming back into the Premier League, you've got to expect that it's going to take a few games, maybe weeks, maybe even a month or two before you're back up to sort of a level where you're like, right, I know what I'm doing every sort of minute of every minute of every game. Yeah, it feels unlikely that we're going to see him in a major role between now and the end of the season. A minor one would be a bonus.
Absolutely, yeah. So obviously we keep an eye out on the Thiago stuff, but it does look like Liverpool are going to be out him for a while. Hey everyone, that was a clip from Journo Insight. If you want to check out the whole show, either in video or podcast form, including the 20-minute chat about Xabi Alonso and the prospects of him becoming the next Liverpool manager, head on over to redmenplus.com. Sign up from as little as $6.99 a month, and you can get every single show we do in your podcast apps or in video format, and like I say, including that amazing Journo Insight chat, so go and check it out.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out the content today. If you want to get your name in and amongst these wonderful people, then head to redmenplus.com. Join as a legend tier subscriber. You're going to get free merchandise codes. You're going to get in our Discord, and you're going to get your name at the end of YouTube videos. Yes, redmenplus.com, legend tier status.